It is a golden age for Excel users because with the power of AI, we can create anything we want in Excel in a matter of minutes that used to take hours. We do this without code, we do this without formulas. I've created a couple of buttons that I want to show you how easy this is to do. And I'll show you how to do it very, very quickly. So let's get started. Firstly, let's show you the buttons that I've created using this method. Just imagine you've got 100 charts in your Excel workbook and you wanted to change the colors of every one of those charts to a grayscale. And you don't want to do it one by one. You can create a button just like I've done here where it updates the charts to grayscale. So you watch this. When I click this button, click the OK, every single bar has changed to a different shade of grey for each chart. I was able to create this in less than a minute. Another one that I created is, let's just put some products on here that we want to put a bit of a focus on those charts. So let's type in monitor and maybe the gaming chair. When I press this button now to color the focus products, it's going to find those products in those charts, in any chart that I have on my workbook, and change the color of those bars. So again, let's press the button and press OK. And now you can see that just those particular products that are in my list have updated to red. Again, I can go back to my grayscale button, press it again, and it will revert back to a grayscale. And then I've created one a little bit more complex, where it's going to go through every chart in the entire workbook. Imagine you've got 100 and you want to change anything that has a color as an axis name to the actual color that it is. So again, I've worked with AI, I've put this into ChatGPT, given them a prompt, and it's created this for me. So let's press this button, color charts by axis label. Press the button and press OK. And now you can see that any chart that has a color as an axis label has colored that actual bar that represents the color into that color. And you can see it actually works, because if I change monitor to maybe the color of red, and I repress this button again, you can see that's actually changed that particular bar in all the charts. So it's really handy, really easy to use. And I made these in less than a couple of minutes. Now, I've also got one just to show you how complex this can be, where I wanted to create a button that goes through a table of data, which is hundreds of lines long, pulls out the product and the categories, concatenates those products and categories into one name, brings the sum over to a new table just for the particular date that I selected, and creates a new table and a new chart. So let's press this button. I'm going to select the date, being the 3rd of January, and press my button, top products by date, and you can see it's automatically created a table with all the products and the categories and their total values summed up on the 3rd of the 1st, 2025. It's also created a table, highlighted the highest one in green and the lowest one in red. And I can change this date. Let's make it the 20th of January. Press the button again, it updates the table and updates the chart. Again, this is a really, really complex thing to create if you were doing this from scratch, but I did it in a matter of minutes using AI. So now that I've shown you my examples of the buttons, let's get started and show you how to create them. To do this, I've reopened the Excel file again, removing the buttons. I'm going to show you how easy it is to create one of these buttons, and you can go and try the rest for yourselves. I'll put a link in the description below to this file if you want to go and try it. Okay, so we've opened up the file. The other thing we need to do is open up our AI browser. And you can use ChatGPT, Gemini, or any of the others. They're all doing a pretty good job these days. I'm just going to quickly open up our ChatGPT. And it's currently using the GPT-5, which is new as of this video. So let's create the prompt into ChatGPT so we can get this button working. So the first one we wanted to do was to update all the charts in the file to a shade of grey. So let's type in the prompt. Create me a macro in Excel that finds every bar or column chart in Excel and changes the data bars in each of those charts to a different shade of grey, so that no data bar in an individual chart is the same shade of grey. So it's very, very specific, and the more specific you are, the better the formula is going to come. So let's run this and see what we've come up with. Now, I did this before in Gemini, so it'll be interesting to see how it works in ChatGPT. And there you go, it's taken a couple of seconds. We're going to copy this VBA script and we're going to go back into our Excel file. Now, the first thing you need to do is make sure you've got the developer tab. And if you don't have this developer tab, how you get it is you go over to File, go down to Options. On the left-hand side, you go to Customize Ribbon. And on the right-hand side, there's a whole bunch of tabs. You've got to make sure that the developer tab is selected and press OK. If it doesn't come up immediately, you might need to restart your Excel. Okay, so now that's there, we want to create this button. So I'm going to type in Alt F11. So it brings up my VBA script, and then I'm going to insert a module. So we'll go to module 1. I'm going to paste that code that ChatGPT gave me, and it is called Shade Bars and Columns Unique Grey. I'm going to shut that down, and now I'm going to go back up to the developer tab. I'm going to go to the middle section where it says Insert, and I'm going to do the Form Control button. Now I'm just going to draw that button in, and once you draw it, a pop-up comes up and says, which macro do you want to assign? Now we've only put one in there. This is the current one. So I'm going to press OK, and now the button is there. You can rename the button if you like, and I'll just type it New Button. And now, once I click that button, it's now updated those charts with a different shade of grey. So that's how simple it is to create a macro button using the power of ChatGPT or any other AI service. Now don't forget, when we go back to my original worksheet, I've got a couple of extra buttons here, and I'm going to put down in the link in the description below the prompts that I use to create these buttons, so you can go and try them for yourself. And if you remember, there was a very complex button that I put onto the second page. I'll put in the description down below the macro, the entire macro that came out to create that button, but it did take me a number of tries in Gemini to get it working the exact way I wanted to. It'd take a little bit longer. It took me maybe 5 minutes and maybe 3 prompts to get it right. But again, it was very, very simple, and you can imagine the power of this when you're trying to analyze data very, very quickly and create it in Excel. So hopefully you enjoyed what you see. Please select that like button or click subscribe. That'll be great. And we'll see you next time.